must have been very hurtful for you as his mother.
Oh, my
Some of the things that Michael was accused of, the court cases he had to fight and so on. How did you feel as his mother?
Oh, my gosh. It almost destroyed me in a way, you know, when I say it just hurt, because I know Michael didn't do those terrible things. But then I say, there are so many wicked people. Why are they doing this to him?
Did you ever try and advise Michael that his own behaviour, you know, I interviewed Michael a few years ago, and he had a very childlike quality to him. But did you ever feel concerned that he was allowing himself to get put into positions, you know, when he had all these young boys come around to stay and so on? Did you ever say as his mother, Michael, I think you should be careful here. The rest of the world may not see this in the innocent way that you do.
I've talked to him about it. I never told him to stop you having children around, but he did stop having a lot. Most of the children that were around Michael was his own relatives. And I can remember that my sister-in-law, she walked into the store and she saw this, one of these tabloids, and they had something ugly to say in the headlines, and she just went berserk. She said, those are my grandchildren, they're Michael's cousins. Why are they saying this about him?
Do you think all the accusations, the allegations, the trials that he had to go through, do you think it all contributed in the end to his physical condition and his early death? I mean, do you think that all the drugs he was taking for the anxiety, for the lack of sleep, the painkillers and so on, was it all connected, do you think, in the end, to the pressure that he felt and the tension and the stress?
You know what? I think a lot of that was exaggerated about the different things that he was taking. Because I've been to my son's house unannounced, and I've been there announced. I have never seen him in that way. I know he was taking painkillers because he got burnt on top of his head. Very painful. But all this other stuff they added to it, I don't know if that was the truth or not, but I don't think that had anything to do with the way he died.
What do you think, as his mother, caused his death?
I don't know. All I know is they used propofol, and they shouldn't have used it, and they used it in the wrong setting. That's all I know, and that's what causes death.
What are your feelings towards Dr. Conrad Murray? Do you blame him?
You know what? I can't even describe the way I feel about him. He did a terrible thing, and it might have been others involved. I don't know that, but I feel that. You know what? I'd rather not answer that question. The only thing he did for a person's life, 4 years in jail is not enough. I'll never see my son again, but he can get out and he'll enjoy his children. But
Michael trusted him.
yes, he did. He did. He trusted.
He trusted a lot of people.
He trusted everybody.
Did you meet Conrad Murray?
Never met him. Still to this day, I have never met him.
Has he ever tried to contact you?
I don't think so.
He's ever written to you or anything?
No.
A devastatingly awful thing to happen. You lose this son of yours. He's just 50 years old. I mean, it's you know, half a life, really.
Yes.
Will you ever get over this, Katherine, do you think?
Never. Every morning, all through the day, I think about Michael. If I wake up through the night, my mind is there. But
what do you think when you think of him?
I just miss him. But being a Christian and believing in the resurrection, I feel that I'll see him again. I'm sorry.
It's perfectly understandable. You're his mother, you know. It's I can't imagine a worse thing. I'm a parent myself to 4 kids. I can't even imagine how horrendous it must be to lose a child.
I know.
It's so unnatural, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And And it should be.
Lots of people say, Katherine, that Michael, in the build-up to his death, was working too hard, was too tired, he couldn't sleep, all that kind of... You've heard all this. Is that true? Because I've also heard from people that were working with him on the tour and everything, that he was pretty fit, that he was enjoying it, and he was having a good time, and he was excited. What's the truth?
What's the... Excuse me? What's...
How did you think he was in the build-up to his death, physically?
You know, we have a trial going on, and I'd rather not say. I've talked a lot already about it.
But were you concerned about him?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because when they told me that he had 50 shows going on, I was concerned about those shows. I thought it was a little bit too much. Because Michael hadn't been on stage for about 10 years, you know. And I called them, and I told them, because the way they had it structured, they said every other night that he would be working. On a night, off a night, on a night, off a night. And he was used to working at least once or twice a week. And I just kept calling them, telling them they had to change that schedule, because that was, I didn't like the way it was going. I thought it was a little bit too much for him.
Did he listen to you, Michael? Or...
Oh, yes.
Did you feel that there were bad people around him?
Yes, I do.
Enabling, I guess is the word you would use. People that were just allowing him to...
It was... I just don't want to answer those questions right now, but I do feel that it was. They didn't care about him. All they cared about was money.
It was all about money, you think?
Yes.
Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him. I love him so much.
Incredibly painful for those poor kids, particularly in public like that. You've now taken them into your home. You're bringing up Michael's children.
Yes.
How are they getting on?
They're getting on very well.
They seem, I mean, to be doing remarkably well. They also seem to have, between them, all his kind of zest for life, his talent, his confidence in public, all those things. It's extraordinary to watch. It must be for you too. It must be like almost reliving Michael.
They're in school, and the two oldest children go to private school. The youngest doesn't want to leave home yet, so we have a teacher there for him. Excuse me. In school, and the oldest Prince, the oldest boy, is such a great student.
Is he?
His grades are so good. They're A+.
Do you see the spirit of Michael in them?
Yes, I do. I do.
How would you feel if they want to go? I mean, Paris has already started down this road. If they want to go into show business,
Yes.
do you feel pleased about that or concerned?
Well, I'm pleased and I'm concerned at the same time, because I don't think that Michael would wanted her to be out there this soon. But she wanted it so badly, and she kept saying, please, Grandma, I want this, you know. And so it was something she really wanted, so I just gave in and said, okay.
And how good is she? I mean, how talented are these?
She's very good. She was showing me, I said, well, how do you know you can act? You haven't had acting. So I started sending her to acting, you know, after that. But before then, she said, just try me. Just try me. She said, I can cry on cue. And she showed me how she can cry. And then we...
Amazing.
Yes,
that's not easy.
She's very good. She is good.
How do you think they have coped with losing their father?
You know, I don't think that they act like normal children. They play, they have a good time, but I don't think they'll ever forget. I don't think so. But they're doing quite well, very well.
Brett,
Yes.
come back to you and Michael, because you knew him extremely well.
Yes.
Very heartrending talking to Katherine about a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
Can't get a more powerful voice, really,
No.
than Michael's mother. Does this resonate with you? I mean, what was your feeling about Michael in the build-up to his death? Were you concerned about him as a friend?
Well, his enthusiasm to succeed brought all his strength out in him, and he just wanted to create more, and he wanted to be in front of his fans again, you know, and he was enthusiastic.
Were you concerned as a friend of his about what was possibly going on?
Well, during the time that he was pretty much studying to do these concerts, I had very little contact with him. So, but the contact that I did have, he's upbeat, enthusiastic, and he would call me early hours of the morning and leave me some fantastic messages. So I never knew that he had any problem. But I do know that over the years that, you know, he would trust people and he would not do any due diligence, or sometimes his inner feelings he wouldn't listen to them. And I think he had a lot of trust that he should have questioned.
You also said an interesting thing to me in the break about Michael's relationship with his father.
Yes, he loved his father, and I think a lot of the publicity that's come out that his father, you know, may have been harsh on him, you know, I think people should know that he respected his father. He thought his father was fantastic, that, you know, gave him and his brothers and sisters a wonderful future, and he respected them. His father turned up at all those terrible trials that he had to go through. He was always supportive of him, you know, but yeah, he loved him.
Katherine, what would you like Michael's legacy to be?
I know he'll be remembered as the artist he was, but a lot of people misunderstood him. They didn't know Michael loved life, he loved people, and he gave so much to charity, and he always loved to give to the people that didn't have, even since he was a little kid, about 6 or 7 years old. As I always tell the story about, he was laying on the floor watching TV, and remember when these little black kids had the big stomachs and flies flying all around them and their mouths and all, and he would start crying. And he was telling me, he said, "Mommy, one day I'm going to do something about this."
You mean the scenes from Ethiopia and places in Africa?
Yeah, and the African
with the starving
kids,
young children.
with starving young children with the big bellies from and and he's always been giving to charities and things like that, and he gave more than people knew.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about Michael for people who didn't know him?
The things that were coming out, the things that media, and you know, most people believe what they hear and what they read, and these were all terrible lies.
Like what? Like what?
And like they were saying, he was molesting young boys and other things that he was doing, that he might have been on painkillers, things like that. But as far as them trying to make him out to be a terrible person, he was not that.